ability to go very, very late into the game with a very high life total. And this is going to be the matchup that we see right now in the last game that Jinsoo played. He was on the side of the Reno Mage up against LVGE's Warrior, and he manipulated the game to get multiple copies of N'Zoth and was able to win the game that way. Now he's playing from the other side.
Yeah, and so really one of the big keys to look at was how early LVGE had used Dirty Rat. And he ended up in the disaster scenario. He found N'Zoth, but there was a duplicate on board. So for Jinsoo, thinking back to that, he has a very recent lesson of probably win to Dirty Rat. And it's when your opponent doesn't have duplicate.
Well, it's
the intent from LVGE, of course, was to pull any other minion and waste the duplicate.
Yeah.
That doesn't always happen that way. Early Dead Man's Hand, early Harrison Jones are two of the bad tools for sure in Jinsoo's deck. The other thing really as a kicker is that Hamster, he's not playing a traditional N'Zoth Mage deck that I've been seeing in Wild. He's included Dr. Boom and he's included Pyros. Pyros is a little bit more of a common choice, but the Dr. Boom is certainly an interesting choice, not one you always find.
Couple more threats in the build. Probably going to be very helpful in this matchup in particular because this is a matchup that Hamster is going to need to just have as many minions as possible.
He's thumbing it, and N'Zoth was just drawn. He was thinking about it.
So you think a lot of this one comes down to which minions are pulled from Deathlord, which minions are pulled from Dirty Rat, which minions does the mage actually have access to? Is it going to have Kazakus? Is it going to have N'Zoth? Or will they be pulled out onto the battlefield without access to their battle cries?
Yeah, those are big question marks. Hamster still has some ways out, even if he sees some of the disaster minions die into some of the random pulls. But it's not always a guarantee. So like say Kazakus for a double res potion on 5, and you have Echo of Medivh. That is a way to sometimes get your N'Zoth back.
And the secret in play from the Mad Scientist is duplicate.
Yeah, this is really the scenario where, as Hamster, he does not want to see the duplicate. It's quite weak minions that are in play. The Piloted Shredder is certainly welcome, but the Tar Creeper is just it's like nothing almost.
Doesn't represent any meaningful attack damage. It's not a threat. It's something that's going to clog up Hamster's hand, and if he's got 3 free mana, he's going to play it, but it's not a threat by itself. All right, that was a 1 and 4 to potentially hit that N'Zoth from Jinsoo. But no luck. Pyros!
Oh!
What?
From the Shredder!
Oh my goodness.
Not even from the one in his deck. Now there's 2 Pyros! Which with N'Zoth could mean 4 Pyros!
Or 2 baby Pyros, 2 6/6 Pyros. That's a lot of Pyros.
That's a lot of Pyros! And Jinsoo has not found any card draw. That is a big problem for his deck. He's got to find card draw.
You do see the Accolade of Pain in the deck alongside the shield block, of course. No weapons for Harrison Jones to hit, so he just went ahead and played that. There's some presence on board. It's not actually that much card draw on this deck. There's
really not.
Yeah,
it's just
the 4 cards.
And there goes the shield slams. And one of them was from hand.
It's gonna hurt.
Jinsoo really needed that shield slam to kill something.
I mean, Hamster correctly identifying that he is the aggressor in this matchup. He needs to put as much pressure on board as he can. Certainly you want to play around the removal from the Warrior if at all possible, but doing a very nice job of just keeping that pressure on.
We've been seeing so many weird board states in Wild.
I know.
It's like, I never see this many minions in play. Like, there's just usually like 2 or 3 total, and like they're fighting back and forth. In Wild, it just feels like there's just like perpetually 7 minions in play.
It's pretty cool. I don't know. The situations are just so drastically different.
The boards get really complicated when this stuff's happening. Like there's a lot going on with just a handful of minions on board. The number of decision trees you have just continues to grow and grow each time.
And that's so much that you have to consider in just the short 75 seconds of a turn. Hamster could have gone with Dr. Boom. Instead, he wanted to get that Pyros online. Boombots obviously are very susceptible to Brawl, but for Hamster, if Jinsoo has to Brawl this, he's feeling pretty good.
Yeah,
It's just Hero Power Pass.
You want to have Justicar when you're making that move.
I want to have Justicar always and forever. Soon with Baku, we will.
Yeah, I mean, that 6/6 is going to add up real quick.
The Hamster really just doesn't have to do much of anything else.
Just hits. Just
doesn't have to play anything on
Yeah.
board.
I don't think he has to do anything. I really don't.
Arcane Intellect, Hero Power Pass. I mean, you just saw Jinsoo do the same thing.
I'm playing the Sledge Belcher, but
You don't have to. No reason not to. Does Ghoul Fishes or Ghoul Revenge Fishes do anything?
I don't think he can do that right now.
When do you want a Dead Man's Hand? God, this is intricate.
What now?
Armor gains you 10 armor. Shield slams are gone, so you can just play this when you think the most minions are on board that Hamster will have at any time.
This is clearly a deck that's very tuned to beat Dude Paladin.
Yeah.
That's not in Hamster's lineup.
Pyros. Numero dos.
Pyros Jr.
Little Pyros.
All right, so now we've entered revenge territory, but Jinsoo is quite dangerously low.
There's just a Blood Mage Frostbolt in hand for Hamster as well, so he does have 5 damage reach with the Frostbolt ping.
I was trying to figure out why Hamster had, or why Jinsoo had not popped this duplicate by now, and I think he's waiting to try and burn something from Hamster is what the intent has been.
Oh.
So Hamster, I'm curious if that's what he's thinking about is do I need to empty something out of my hand? I have 2 Death Rattles on board that add stuff to my hand as well. Like, how much do I need to play from hand to prevent myself from getting burned? So he's going to just play this, expend this, kill the board pressure. Just trying to get stuff out of his hand.
Great recognition from Hamster there. Granted, the resources that he has right now look like they're enough to win him the game, but, if you have a Kazakus on the top, you'd rather not burn it. So he is just going to go all in, throw that Frostbolt to face, because that's where it was headed anyway.
It's been a pretty bad pan out for Jinsoo, but we have now entered Code Red.
I don't know, Admirable. This one feels weird to me.
It was a bad hand.
Yeah.
It's a really bad hand from Jinsoo, but
When you're only playing 2 Acolytes, 2 Shield Boxes card draw, it can be kind of inconsistent.
there are a lot of dead cards in the matchup, that's for sure. Let's get some armor back. Let's go ahead and revenge. Like this is what you're meant to do versus aggressive decks. Is this exact thing right here? That's why it's so good against Dude Paladin. And so duplicating the Skulking Geists.
Sure.
Yeah, Skulking Geist was the most recent minion play that had died there. Echo gets picked up.
2 Pyroses.
Second Deathlord underneath the N'Zoth too. That is a polymorph in hand for Hamster. I'd be a little bit stunned if he chose not to use this polymorph in this spot.
Hamster still has Kazakus in deck.
It's also it's the second Deathlord is the thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this really weakens N'Zoth if you polymorph this.
There's only the 2 Belchers, 2 Deathlords in the deck, period. Jinsoo doesn't have copies of Direhorn Hatchling, only has the 4 Death Rattles. Unstable Portal.
How about another duplicate?
How about an unstable portal?
Duplicate.
Unstable portal.
Your first duplicate got wasted. Now you have a backup one.
Fair enough.
So he doesn't necessarily need to polymorph the Deathlord right away. You know, obviously he has some amount of freedom to wait. But I would very much suspect that this Deathlord does have a big target on his head right now. Let's see what Moonbots do. Uh-oh. So pretty weak.
Okay.
Those are now in the pool for N'Zoth as well.
Not much that Jinsoo can really do this turn.
Yeah. Attacks with the Blood Razor, you want to set up for your Acolyte of Pain when you find it. And that's really the draw that he needs right now. He needs Acolyte of Pain.
Flame Strike maybe helps clean up once the N'Zoth comes down.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see how greedy Hamster actually gets for this. You know, he is racing against a fatigue clock, but with Echo Medivh, with Reno Jackson, like, you can extend that fatigue clock for another few turns in a lot of those situations. Oh!
Wow.
Oh! Oh! Oh!
Oh, gross. Jinsoo can't play N'Zoth now.
It certainly got a lot harder.
Whole game's just been hard.
Yeah, I mean, when you find the Sylvanas, that's a good time to go ahead and use Echo Medivh.
Vulcangeist just to get something out of hand. So Hamster doesn't overdraw, and there's an Execute.
Yeah, I mean, this is, like, approaching the N'Zoth button real quick, but you really want to Dead Man's Hand the N'Zoth.
So then maybe this is the turn. Whoa!
But you really want to Dead Man's Hand more than just N'Zoth. That's the thing. There's only one copy in the deck, so... You know, the question mark on my head is that he knows that Pyros is there. What's the game plan after?
How do you get past all of the pressure that Jinsoo knows is in hand for Hamster?
Meteor drawn and Polymorph. I mean, I don't think there's a way out of this. If he N'Zoths now, he's under just lethal threat.
Knows there's Pyros, knows there's Dr. Boom and Sylvanas. Yep. That is going to be 1-1 series. Hamster going to take the win with the Reno Mage.
Gotta find those Acolytes.
All right, so how's this warrior going to win?